If we're being pedantic, this is actually the machete and pistol run, but thanks to the magic of the wish mutation, I never have to use the machete part of it. Consequently, because this has to be the legendary version, not too much happening in the first area, combat-wise at least. If you want to see what a pacifist run is like on 5-cell mode, here you go. A lot of enemies chasing after you and ending the run seconds after starting. There is some strategy of looking at the map to determine your route so you don't get back into a corner. Staying on small ledges will force enemies to fall off and die, which is still pacifist. I can't control gravity. I can only control every other primordial element of nature, and time itself in one of the early updates. No, it is not consistent enough to do a gimmick run before you even ask. Besides, bosses would shut down any true pacifist run. Alright, getting the actual weapon for the run. Shame I need to use a mutation slot so early on, but it does open me up to doing a survival run. No, don't leave yet. Look over here, I'm also doing a parallel tactics run. The original plan with this one was that I was going to use the point-blank mutation and get a boatload of extra damage, although the 2x damage affix right now is certainly sufficing. Sad to say, the pistol is considered a melee weapon, which would be funny if I was pistol whipping everything, but I don't think that version of the weapon would be as well received. It reminds me of the old PlayStation RPG Wild Arms, a Wild West themed RPG where everyone is a gunslinging cowboy, but not really because the setting is still 90% Final Fantasy, battling demons, but also sci-fi, blah blah blah. Go watch the myriad RPGs I played on the channel for more examples than you can stomach. Because they didn't really commit to that theme, the main character used the bayonet on their gun, which I think might have been a handgun, if I'm thinking about it right now. Maybe? For 90% of their attacks. Could you even imagine an RPG where the main character didn't use a sword? Utterly ridiculous. Full disclosure, I'm pretty sure they fixed that in the sequels, and you do actually use the gun part of the gun to attack. Anyway, I guess this is still considered a machete weapon first and a pistol second. That's got some makings for a good pistol. The weapon already lights enemies ablaze. Getting bleed on top of that would be the trying to come up with something about like red blood and cherry on top. Cherry colored. I got nothing. That fire is also why I got the oil up enemies affix on the weapon. That's what these single runs are all about, scraping the bottom of the barrel to get any synergies you possibly can. And as satisfying as it is to blast zombies with a point-blank shot with a gun, it's honestly not doing that much damage right now. It's decent, and the knockback and the fire is nice and everything, but I do think the nature of the weapon makes it seem more powerful than it actually is. Bottom line is that I'm still getting a good amount of use out of the necromancy mutation. Oh boy, speaking of extremely high damage single weapon runs, no way am I ever doing a cursed sword. Yes, the legendary version is very much designed for this exact sort of run, but I do not want to subject myself to playing this game perfectly again. It's the same thing I said when I was playing Celeste. It's not the longest I've ever worked on a game, that's still Persona 5, or the hardest, but it was one of the most stressful. Go watch the Cursed Sword Showcase if you want to see that. Over on the other run, it's a curse area. Fantastic. Something of a theme going on here now, isn't there? Well, no reason to get rid of the 2x damage if I'm going to be cursed a good amount of my stay here. And hey, another legendary machete. Well, too bad I already used Wish. I could have freed up mutation slot here. Then again, I was already being more lenient with the only use pistol rule, as I'm sure you can tell. I had that colorless one for emergency healing. It had the lifesteal affix, so didn't even end up taking it. I'm already playing tactics. Why not go all in on the risk part of the risk-reward dynamic? Ossuary is a trivial romp compared to the depths. Thornies, and any enemy with a shield really, are no match for the pistol that goes right through any shield. I'm finally able to get back up to full health and potion charges for the first time since the beginning of the run as well, so there's something to be said about that. In the other run, I finally got point blank, only to see my damage go from 2600 to 3000 to 2600 to 3000. All beans. By this area, I have pretty much committed to using the 2x damage affix for the rest of the run. Well, I say that, but it depends on what the pistol and the shrines look like. If a weapon is entirely dependent on being legendary, there is no reason not to go that route after all. No other place that I can go to get a guaranteed upgrade for my weapon if I already used Wish after all. I went Concierge on both of these runs, so let's look at the 2 times damage one. They're both effectively the same, except with double damage it's going to go slightly quicker. So I think the most interesting thing about this fight is that you can very clearly see where the hitbox of this weapon lies. It's pretty much right at the edge of the little burst of fire that comes out whenever you shoot it, which means that it is longer than you might think, but still, doesn't go quite across the screen like you would expect a gun to actually do. Aside from that, between that little bit of extra range and just the amount that I can shoot this, easy fight. Until then. I did get the flawless door in the other run, obviously didn't get it here. Thank God for Rally. Oil and plus 40% on burning, don't mind if I do. And then there's this glitch. Let's say that the machete is a counterbalance for firing the pistol. Fractured Shrines is ideal for weapons such as this, considering that I'm using those funny movie bullets made out of concentrated depleted uranium that launch people backwards. Maybe they're so shocked at being shot that they jump? Either way, they're thrown to the abyss pretty regularly, which is great, if the damage doesn't do them in first. It's a good feeling upgrade getting that gun. And then in the legendary room... Oh, but I am too much of a coward to take it in this run. I think the parallel run makes it clear how big of a mistake that was. Look, right now I'm two-shotting everything. Why mess with a good thing? Well, you can see exactly why in the other run. Speaking of which, I decided to go for the easier route. I had already taken a pretty big hit in that last area against the boss. Let's just keep it nice and simple. Make sure that I can stay at full health and not put myself in any more danger than I already am. What with the whole 2 times damage in the first place. Clock Tower, another vertical level, which means that gravity will do the work that bullets can't. Not much to say here. Pistol really shows off its Glock power in the Clock Tower, so it's a lot of pew 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 and I'm out. And that is for both runs, mind you. You know what they say, the gun is good. And by they, I mean Zardoz. Zardoz also talks a lot about the penis being evil, which I don't know if I can condone in the same way. And much like that illusion, the parallel run was cursed. Again! A lot of curses on this one, but I'm already playing with fire arms. Sure, by taking 2 times damage, so it's not that bad, really. I had the damned vigor mutation as backup either way. See? I'm not even taking that much damage. And minus the morale damage from getting hit by a ball and chain of all things. Timekeeper fight. And I'm taking the tactics run in here again because I think having 2 times damage is just the more interesting version of this. So, being the Bloodborne reference fight, I suppose it makes a lot more sense to go in here with machete and pistol, although I'm only using the pistol, so it's not quite there. You certainly can do gun only in Bloodborne. I've never tried it myself, but oh, the fight's already done. Well, and that was the Timekeeper fight. Back to the survival run, which I think after that fight is starting to lose a lot of its shine. And you may say, it seems pretty risky to be going to the shipwreck, and oh, it actually quite is. Never mind. Let's go. Yes, wouldn't this be even more risky? Yes, but I made the decision before even going into this run to be going the Queen route. You think that might be the reason why there's 2 simultaneous runs? No, that's just a coincidence, right? I just wanted to show off tactics, of course. It's barrels of fun! Why did I bother with this? Alright, you know what? Let's just say this right now. Survival run just goes very quickly downhill from here, so let's finish it up. The Lighthouse. Oh, it has been a while, hasn't it? Well, there's good reason for that. I do think that the Servants and the Queen fight, which I would consider to be a single fight, more or less, is the hardest in the entire game. It is just a marathon boss fight, multiple combatants that you have to keep track of. There's an entire obstacle course type of aspect to it. There's good reason why this was the last fight that I did perfectly, that I got the achievement and the golden uniform for. because there's just so much stuff going on. It's also telling that, of course, they give you a heal partway through. Not a big one, you know, the little 15% food stuff, but still, it's just very, very hard. And when I'm already, of course, limiting myself by, say, using a single weapon, it's not any easier, even if it is a very good weapon. Maybe something like, I don't know, the legendary symmetrical lance or something would be decent, but I don't know. It's just, well, I think you can already tell how this is going to go just from how I was talking about it in the last area, right? Still, though, if I can at least get through the servants fight, that's something, right? That was my plan, at least. I have one potion charge here. I was sort of maybe considering taking like a, what is it? Midas Blood, the gold armor one, because I do have a good amount of cash too. I eventually went with instead just Soldier's Resistance for a big chunk of extra health, and then Disengagement just because, well, maybe if things go really poorly, I can just kind of finish off the boss while I'm still invincible. That is a legitimate strategy. It's not a good strategy. I mean, but when have I ever going to be taking good strategies? For example, trying to fight the bosses while doing the whole run away from the fire bit here. Hey, if you're confident enough in yourself and you think you can dodge around, you can get a good amount of damage done before they're technically in true boss form. Of course, it didn't really work out too well for me, but I gave it a try anyway. And then, of course, you have the Queen fight right after this, too, which is quite difficult. A great fight, but a very difficult fight. So, you do get, of course, the heal if you don't get her down halfway and everything. Another very intentional design of the game, of course, because it's just that hard and they know it. Oh, this is horrendous. I've already used the potion charge, of course, too. Still got Disengagement going. That's something. Well, although it's not going too bad, this is, of course, part 2 of 3, so I gotta keep that in mind. I can't remember, but I think this was also the point when I decided to be like, okay, let's stop trying to fight the bosses outside of the proper arena. Yes, it's a good way to get a little bit of damage because they're not using their full move set and everything, and specifically concentrating on you. Doing a bit of running around as well, but still, you know. All right, last one. Let's see how this one goes. Oh, right, I did try to go for a little bit of initial damage before we get the last servant out here. Because Cleo's obviously one of the most difficult to kind of deal with. The fighting is a lot less predictable, I think, than any one of the others. It's very easy, of course, to see a gigantic ball and chain come towards you. It's very easy to dodge around the glowing beam of light. But yeah, like, look at that right there. Okay, so yeah, I learned absolutely nothing and just decided to go right for attacking again. And there's Disengagement. I, of course, have no more potion charges, so this is... Oh, this one's just not going well. Okay, but hey, well, we're in the arena at 15% health, 30% health. Come on, I just gotta do this right. And the knockback, I do believe, means that Cleo will get knocked out of a good amount of attacks. But I'm just barely outranging her, too, which is kind of a problem. Yeah, knockback works on bosses, and you can use it quite a bit because, of course, well, this is a very fast-shooting weapon when you're using the legendary version. Oof, that's not good. I'm getting hit a surprising amount from the arrows on this one. Yeah, there was a good knockback on Cleo there. Not bad, but I'm surprised that didn't hit me. Ah, but that one did. I thought I was jumping fast enough. Not quite. Yeah? No, this is getting rough. I think I can do it, though. See? Just add a little bit of extra knockback. Gets her right out of the attack. Kind of cancels out that entire move. Can make this work. Not easily. Oh, what? You were supposed to be knocked off the side there. Well, I tried in that last fight. It's certainly worth pointing out the big difference between those two runs is not going to the queen fight. Also building for damage, even at the expense of health, as opposed to a high health but lower damage build. And not doing the queen fight. Did I, mention that? Which is why, of course, as soon as I decided to start taking a little bit more cautious approach in the castle, I put away the 2x damage gun. You can see what happened. Removing enemies from the playing field before they can even attack is a strategy that is HP agnostic. It doesn't matter if you have 1 HP, it doesn't matter if you have 10,000 HP, which is not actually all that much at a lot of points in the game, but you know what I'm saying. It's also good to remember that there are a lot of one-shot prevention mechanics that will work regardless of the 2x damage modifiers or whatever you're using. The bigger the better when it comes to pistol is the real takeaway here. And the king. Of course, I am still doing great damage. I am still taking great damage. I mean, that whole thing where I got hit by the concierge and had all of my health taken away is still very much in play here. But if I can get through this fast enough, and as you can see, doing quite a bit of damage just right off the bat. Ow. Well, that's why rally works really well here. Okay, now come on. I have to at least play somewhat decently, right? Well, hey, I got a couple potion charges left. Of course, I need to use one after the absolute disaster you saw in the last area. But hey, it's taking out the elites in one shot alone, I think, really just shows how good 2x damage can be. So, yeah, not quite as smooth as the Timekeeper fight, but could have been worse. So I have disengagement and damned vigor here, after all. Hey, a legendary balance blade. Could have easily replaced the machete with that and gotten a whole new combo of weapons. You know, that might have been a fun legendary version of this, albeit one with a lot more programming required. 2x damage, 2x damage. Always felt so risky for so many runs in the past, but you can see it is really working here. I guess it just really shows you the less time you can spend in fights, the better. And if you feel like you can even dodge most of the attacks coming your way, you'll have at least some sort of protection in one mutation or another, as you've already seen. Oh, well. Yep. Defender. I've died to those guys exactly once. And I was real close to making it twice there. Which would have been a pretty funny way to end the run, mind you. Ah, yes, another fight against the Collector in his church dedicated to the syringe. Now, this is, of course, once again, good damage, but good damage doesn't really matter when you have multiple phases here. And a lot of damage that I know that I take with not too many potion charges. Yeah, it's going to be easier than the Queen. Absolutely. Oh, I really would like to, at some point in time, do a Queen fight, but it's just, I don't know what sort of run I would need to make that work. After all, every single time I want to do an attempt, that's a good 2 hours that I got to spend getting up to that point. And, you know, it's not really as easy to, say, practice the Servants as it is to practice the Collector or Dracula or whatever. Still, not too bad. Honestly, as always, it's this move exactly that I feel like is going to be my downfall most of the time. It's not like it's really difficult to dodge or anything, but I always go in too hard and then end up getting hit by it, and with multiple hits there, well, that can be the end of the run, right? Okay. Come on. And I did decide to switch out Damned Vigor this time for the sake of No Mercy, just to try and finish it up a little bit faster. Is it really worth it? I don't know, but hey, come on. I just gotta make sure that I'm not too Ooh! Ah! I told you, it is that move. It's that move. But hey, that's why I got, oh, wow, look at that damage. That is why I had disengagement there for that exact circumstance.